Mic check 1 2. We on? Cool. Hey everybody, and welcome to the 12th episode of Trippin with Theobold. Made it to the 12th episode, man. It's been a minute. I apologize. You know what I'm saying? I think my last episode I recorded was at the end of April, and had a lot happen in the past month. You know, I think I told y'all I'll be gone for a little while or whatever. But for you new listeners, or for those that don't know about this show slash podcast or whatever, this show is called Trippin with Theobold, and I'm your host, Andre Theobold. I go by Andre Theobold. I go by AT. I go by Dre Theo. I go by Dre. And I probably have more monikers yet to come, you know. But we here. You know, we here. And the show is called Trippin with Theobold because I be tripping. I don't like how that sounded. That sounded Ebonics-ish. But I trip in, I figuratively trip. So I'm getting this shit all messed up. So it's called Trippin with Theobold because I literally trip and I figuratively trip, you know? Like, I literally trip in speech, you know what I'm saying? I grew up with a speech impediment, and it's not all the way gone, so sometimes I get tripped up. And we're here to be accountable and own our shit, so that's what we doing. I own my shit. And I trip in thought, like figuratively, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have a lot of like crazy ideas, and this is my little platform to trip figuratively and literally for you all. Hence the name Trippin with Theobold. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get down with the first portion of the show. The first portion of the show, which is the say what portion of the show. But before I do that, I gotta plug some things, man, because you know I like to shop. I like to buy things and, you know, support up and coming businesses and new things, or things that I like. You know what I'm saying? So first order of business is, man, shout out to Dungeon Forward. You see this hat? This is a Dungeon Forward hat. This is a good quality hat. Like, they done took dad hats to another level. You know, like, this joint is, you know, cost a little bit of bread, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, look at that, man. That design is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I got two hats. When they came in the packaging, like, they came in this nice little green bag, you know, Dungeon Forward. And I have another hat, and this is their forgot what they called it. This is the it's like the blue raspberry lemonade hat. They have all types of hats, man. Good quality hat, man. Has good structure, you know, it feels nice. You know, so shout out to them, man. I really like their hats. There's one hat that I really want to get that sold out. So I had to subscribe to the mailing list to make sure that I get notified when that hat comes out, because I'm going to jump on it, because that hat is fire. But they have a lot of hats, man. A lot of good quality artistic hats, you know. And, you know, if you look at my last videos, I have a lot of hats, and I'm a sports nerd slash sports junkie, you know what I'm saying? So I have a lot of sports hats, and I said, you know what, Dre? I gotta mix it up, man. I gotta have some artistic hats, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Dungeon Forward, you know, with these artistic hats. I like how they feel. I'm a fan, you know. Yeah. So make sure you go check them out, man. And then also, I don't think I told y'all this, but I'm a big sock junkie. Like, I like socks, you know. I love socks. So with the new Falcon and the Winter Soldier show that just came out, I had to jump on these, man. I had to jump on these Captain America socks, man. You know, I'm a Falcon slash new Captain America fan now, you know. The Disney show was dope. I like the direction that the show took. It was very in-depth. I think they captured a lot of the sentiment amongst Black Americans in this country, you know, and they tried to do their best to make it positive, man. But I love what they did with Falcon and Captain America. So I had to get these socks. So I got these socks from rock'emsocks.com. Rock'em Socks has good quality socks, man. Like it's made from, now they're gonna be a little pricey. You might pay, I think there's what, like $16 a pair. But look, you got the artwork, and then you got the ribbing, and just it's a good quality sock, man. So like those. And also I'm getting into shoes, man. I'm getting into bad habits, man. Shoes. I'm getting back into basketball kicks. So just bought another pair of J's. But the shoes I really like though, I like the Westbrooks. I like the Why Not 04s. Like those are really nice. Like the pair I want, I don't think are even out yet. Russ Warm in the playing game versus the Celtics. They were like this hot pink and burgundy and like a dash of blue, and the soles were like I think black. Those shoes were hot, man. And I looked all over the internet. I tried to tweet about it. I tried to put the pictures so people could, send me to the. I can't. So I think those might be like player edition only shoes, or they might come out next year. But when them things come out, I'm jumping on them, man. Them things is fire. So I'm getting into, the Why Nots, and then Jason Tatum has a brand under Jordan Brand, and Luka does too. So Jordan Brand is like putting out some pretty artistic shoes. So, but I gotta chill because I got a budget and shit. But anyways, that's just me plugging, products that I like, and that I will continue to support, But let's go ahead and move on with the show because we've been up here just yip yapping for a minute. So let me go ahead and get into some shit. So this is the Say What portion of the show where we kind of check in with the with everything speech impediment related to me. You know what I'm saying? It's been a pretty stressful past. And May was pretty stressful. I did a lot. And I'm going to talk about various things that I did throughout the show in the month of May. But I've been feeling like a little, I wouldn't say anxiety, but just mentally tired, and I'm not sure like if that has impact on my speech or whatever and stuff. But like I really have to like at times I really have to like try to not stammer and shit, And it's weird, man, because I feel like in the category of speech impediments, I feel like that's just I feel like it's just a buzzword, or it's a catch-all phrase that catches all types of speech defects or whatever. And I think that there are just so many speech defects out there that I think that they haven't even all really been classified. So I don't even like calling my shit a stutter because it's like weird. It's like I don't like repeat individual syllables. You know what I mean? I used to, but now it's like my brain kind of like catches that, and I'll just pause, or I'll try to like double clutch my shit, until I can kind of like get over the hump, So I'll kind of keep saying like the same couple of words, or I'll try to like find a comfort word, and then I'll try to like leap over the cliff of the word that I can't say or can't get through. You know what I'm saying? But it's weird, you know what I'm saying? So, but other than that, man, like, I found that the more that I accept my shit, the more relaxed I am. And when I fuck up, I'm like, nigga, I fucked up. What you gonna do? Laugh in my face? Like, like that's happened to me so many times, man. I'm like, man, whatever, yo. Brush that shit off, whatever. And now I'm at the point now where like I realize that when people laugh in your face, when that kind of shit happens, like they're not trying to be mean. This shit just look funny, but there are some people that like will always bring it up, and they won't let you off the hook no matter what. Them the assholes, like them the niggas you gotta like grind down to the stump, like, yeah. So like if I talk and if I fuck up and people laugh in my face, like I'm not like, will I be embarrassed? Yeah, but I'm not gonna like take it personal. But if I keep seeing the same person, and no matter what I do or no matter where I go, they're trolling me or they're coming around trying to make fun of me, um, I'm probably gonna say some hurtful shit, yo, and just be an asshole to that person. Maybe that's not the best approach, you know. Or better yet, I'm gonna try to like be funny, and then I'm just gonna find something to pick on them about, you know. Like, yeah, I'm pretty. I guess I'm passive aggressive is what I'm saying, you know. But whatever. Um, I'm fine. I mean, I haven't really had any like I said before, like the whole wearing the mask during this quarantine shit, has kind of like it's weird because I feel like I can really. It's weird. I feel like with the mask covering my mouth, I feel like I could really relax and really struggle freely, but people wouldn't know. And if I did, I'm afraid that when the mask start coming off or when there's no longer need to wear a mask, I'm gonna be comfortable doing that shit, and then I'm gonna revert back to how I used to talk when I was like, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, So that's why like I'm real like conscious of like, my mask and just making sure that I still put on my best behavior underneath the mask so I'm not, you know, like triggering old habits, And then also on top of that, like I have a certain mask that I wear that it's the I got the KN95 mask that like makes a little duck bill joint. So like my mouth isn't touching the cloth because I felt like the mask I had before, so I kind of did it right there. I forgot to. Whenever I stumble, I'm just gonna call it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be like, man, come on, Dre. So, anyways, I got this little duck bill mask or whatever. And or before I had the KN95, I had the mask that like smushed the mouth. I had the smush mouth mask. And when you got the smush mouth mask, like my lips kept like I don't know. I just felt like the cloth kept interfering with my lips. So now I'm worried about keeping my lips off my mask and then talking at the same time and not like stammering and shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I went ahead and I just got the KN95 mask so my lips can move freely. And when they move freely, it's like I'm talking, without the mask on. But you get the point. Anyways, that's that. Um, yeah. So, um, yeah, I just feel like it's weird, man. Like I feel like for having to deal with a speech impediment like most of my life, I feel like I should have a whole lot more to say. But it's weird. I feel like um, I just have interesting ideas, or maybe I haven't asked the right questions. Maybe I need to, ask like more thought provoking questions. Because I feel like some of these topics I feel like there's overlap, and I feel like I repeat myself. But at least that that's the fucking truth, right? If I'm saying the same thing periodically, then there's probably some truth to what I'm saying. So that's that. So, anyways, what's going on? Yeah. So this like I said, come on, Dre. So, like I said, this past month or May was a crazy month, because um, as y'all may or may not know, my grandma passed away um, last September. She passed away at the age of 98. Um, and in the latter years of her life, we found out that not only was she in the military during World War II, but she was part of the only all black, all women's Army Corps to serve overseas in England and in France, and um, they sorted mail, like basically they had this huge backlog of mail. The soldiers had low morale, so they formed, not the women, but the army or the military formed a women's corps, and it ended up being an all black women's corps, and they went overseas and they kicked ass and they sorted the mail like in a crazy amount of time. It was like real short. Like I think they said it was supposed to take them like what was supposed to take them 3 months, they did in 1 month. So my grandma was part of this like special group, and they're going through now and working on getting them a what is it, the Congressional Gold Medal or Medal of Honor. So she's been kind of like going around, like before she passed, she was going around kind of like giving little speeches, doing interviews, doing podcasts. She was in the, news. So anyways, uh, my grandma's birthday's in May, or it was in May. Um, and then me and my mom, we um, drove out to Buffalo to one. We had to go bury the ashes, because we did the whole cremation thing. We don't believe in that funeral home, embalming, casket funeral shit. That's a waste of money. Sorry for those of y'all out there that do that, but I mean, those funeral homes. I mean, well, like I actually had the opportunity to work with a funeral home in this whole process. And then when I saw how they operate, I was like, yeah, nah, go ahead and burn me, cremate me. Like that shit ain't worth it. Like dropping like 20 grand into the ground. That's not. Other people might feel different, but if you feel different, that's you. But anywho, we had the ashes in an urn in my mom's house, and we my grandma said she wanted to be buried with her mom, so we honored that, and we drove out to Buffalo, and then we cleaned out the house, or got most of the house cleaned out, and we're now and then we also buried the ashes over that. So that's why I was gone. That was like the major reason why. So I brought my equipment to try to record some things, but it was just so busy, man. It was, like we were just throwing away like a lot of food and like a lot of stuff in cabinets that were still left over. And yeah, man, we found 57 knives in my grandma's house, man. 57 knives, yo. And not the kind that you eat with. Like I'm talking gangs of New York knives, like we're talking hatchets and meat cleavers and daggers, everything, you name it, Rambo knives, all in different places of the house. You know what I'm saying? So that was pretty interesting. But yeah, we were going through and just breaking down and getting rid of stuff. And what I realized is, and I read this in another book that I had. It's a book called I forgot what it's called, but basically it's about decluttering your life, or it's about being a minimalist. And the one thing they said in the book that kind of struck a chord with me that I saw in person was, your stuff doesn't mean anything to anyone else's, or your stuff doesn't mean anything to anybody else. So my grandma had like a lot of stuff, and I would say, I take that back. 99% of your stuff doesn't mean anything to anybody else. So we were just taking out things that she had, and we were just dumping stuff on the curb, man. Like we had like trucks of stuff just come and grab like stuff we put out on the curb, and it kind of like hurt at first, but I kind of realized that a lot of that stuff was stuff, but I kept some small little token mementos, from like various rooms where I had memories and stuff, but yeah, I was gone for 3 weeks, and it felt like I was only gone for like a week and a half, because we just got up and we were just cleaning. Like we would get up in the morning and just start doing stuff, and then we clean. Like we would get up and start at like 8 o'clock or like 7 a.m. and then we would clean all the way through, or take stuff out, and then we would get done at around 7. And everything in Buffalo, shuts down early, man. Like I didn't realize that. Like I live in LA now, and things in LA like stay open for the most part, but in Buffalo, man, it was like if your ass is not in the car on the way to get something to eat by 7 o'clock, your ass ain't gonna eat, because shit be shutting down at 8, so I had to get used to that little schedule. So that's where I've been. So that was a pretty hectic month, but we still got more work to do. So I'm probably gonna go back to, probably gonna make 2 more trips to Buffalo before the year is out, and then we're gonna move forward. And then also I help my mom drive up, or I help her drive back. Like I'm not a big driver. Like I don't know what it is, but I get, come on, Dre. I don't know what it is, but I get sleepy like when I drive on the road, day or night. So, so on the way up, I pretty much slept because I flew in the day before from LA, and then literally just woke up at 4 a.m. and then got in the car. And then I didn't even unpack my bags or anything. I just hopped in the car and we drove at 4. We left at 4 a.m. And then when we came back, same thing. Woke up at 4. My mom drove half the way. I drove the other half, precisely. But now when I was up there, we had it was crazy, man. We had people that were like, watching the house or whatever, and you know, they started to like kind of move stuff in the house. So we had to, so getting stuff out of the house was kind of a challenge. What else did we happen over there, man? High level. I bought like 6-7 cameras to put up in the house. I bought these Ring cameras so we could have eyes on the house. Blink cameras. So there's Blink. There's lots of different like indoor cameras and stuff. But the original plan was I wanted to get Ring floodlights and put Ring floodlights on different sides of the house. But there were a couple of issues. Like one issue was we had trees that we had to worry about. So even if I did put up a Ring flood, it wouldn't have been able to see anything because the trees would have been blocking the view. So we got to get some trees chopped down before we even think about doing that. And then in addition to that, like we need to get an electrician or someone to come out to actually put fixtures up around the house because I could probably do it myself, but it's better to just hire a professional and let them do it, So I really wanted to do that, but instead I got a Ring peephole which covers like a good portion of the front of our house. But it's battery operated, so it's like I think the battery runs out in like 4 to 5 months or whatever. So if we're not up there for 4 to 5 months, then there's going to be no Ring peephole. But I replaced the Blink cameras that we had with indoor Ring cameras, right? So the Blink cameras that I had before were battery operated, and the battery life held up pretty well, But the problem was with Blink cameras is they have a sync module, and once that sync module goes out, if no one's up there, it's going to stay out. And even if you get a person to go into the house, they have to have an account with their phone, and they have to be able to like kind of be savvy and kind of know how to set everything up. It's not hard, but it's like it's not a one button push thing. Whereas with the Ring cameras, I got the plug-in ones, but they have their own little sync modules built into it. Like each camera individually connects to the internet. So if the internet goes out and it comes back in, it'll pick right back up where it left off. So they're pretty pricey. I spent, like I said, I bought like 6 indoor cameras. And I bought one for the window to look outside to see what yard work is going to be done when we hire like the landscaper and stuff like that, or people to come chop down the trees. So that was cool, you know what I'm saying? So I did all that, met my goal of at least putting up cameras on the inside of the house and having like somewhat visibility outside of our house. But yeah, there's more work to be done, and I'll probably talk about that on future episodes of Trippin with Theobold, right? But anywho, let's go ahead and get into the DFS portion of the show, right? Because we're still playing DFS, man. So I had to take everything down. Like before, I was doing $1. I was doing $1 a day pretty much in DFS, and then I just wasn't winning shit. So I had to say, you know what, Dre, we got $1 back, man, and just mess with the little quarter games or the quarter lineups, right? So I've been playing little quarter games, and I start off good. Like all my players start off nice, but then everyone fades. Like I don't pick the right people. So what else we got going on here now? So today's games, what do we have? Oh, I didn't pick my lineup yet, so let me go ahead and get that going. So, like I said before, I don't do traditional DFS on this show because it just takes too long. I do tiers, right? Because my theory is if you can't pick from a limited selection of tiers, then you shouldn't be messing with, the budget and traditional DFS. So today, tier 6, we got Cantor, Millsap, Horton Tucker, Johnson, Green, Caruso, and Morris. So let me take a look at the numbers right quick. So, wow. Horton Tucker has been, his last game he put up a lot of points, but and he only plays 16 minutes, so he doesn't need a lot of minutes to get points. But I'm looking at the 20s, and after the 20s, he has a bomb. Nah, I'm not messing with that. Let's look at Monte Morris. Nope, not enough minutes for me to even consider that. Alex Caruso. I think Caruso's the move because he had a bad game. Caruso played 21 minutes last game and only put up 5.8 fantasy points. 5 points, 1 rebound, and 2 turnovers. So, yeah, he owes somebody. So, and when he has a bad game, he comes back and puts up numbers in the 20s. So I can definitely rock with Caruso this game. Plus, it's an elimination game, too. So if the Suns come out and blow the Lakers out, he gonna get a lot of garbage time, I think. So that's a plus right there. Jermichael Green for the Nuggets, and I mean, he's gonna have a solid game or decent game. You know what? I like and Cantor. Wow, he hasn't been doing anything. And then Millsap. You know what? Yeah, I'm going with Caruso. I think Caruso going to get about 20 fantasy points tonight, and that's good for a tier 6 player. So let me just. So one thing I do when I pick my tiers, right? Because DraftKings has they have a little bit of fuckery. You know what I'm saying? Like what DraftKings does is, like, if you take it too long to make a pick and your lineup's not complete, it's gonna like boot you out, and then you gotta like log back into DraftKings. And when you do, you lose your whole lineup. All the work that you did is gone. So I just go through. The first thing I do is I just pick random players and I save it. So as I go around and do my analysis and work my way up to the top, you know, I don't lose my data. So for all you novices out there that are just getting started, you know, some knowledge to help you out a little bit. All right. So let's see. So tier 5. In tier 5, we got Kuzma, Crowder, Carmelo. We got Monte Morris. Yeah, Monte Morris, Rivers, and Gasol. So I'm looking at Kuzma. Let's take a look at Kuzma. Okay, his previous 2 games, he had 2 teams for fantasy points. And wow, okay, I like that. After he puts up a teens, he comes back and he can follow it with 30, 40, or more. So I kind of like that. So let me just see what else is going on. So I'm looking for 30 or 40 from Kuzma tonight. Fantasy points, not points, but fantasy points. Then we have Jay Crowder. When he puts up teens, he comes back with 20s. Teens, it's a mixed bag, so I'm not messing with Crowder. I think Kuzma might get a lot of time tonight because I'm not sure what AD is doing. Then we got Carmelo, Anthony. Past 2 games, 2 teens. 2 teens are followed by high 20s and a 30. Interesting. 2 teens, 30. 2 teens, high 20s. Ay. So it's gonna be either Kuzma or Anthony. Not sure yet. Then let's look at Monte Morris. Monte Morris got busy he put up 43 points last game, which is, he caught everyone by surprise. 43 fantasy points. But when he goes off, he came out of nowhere. And the next highest he put up was 31 fantasy points against the Spurs. But then he followed that game up with 8 points. So I'm not going to mess with that. Then Austin Rivers put up 31 last game. So when he puts up 30, he's not coming back from that. So he's going to probably have a low night tomorrow night. And then Gasol. Yeah, so it's either going to, you know what? I'm gonna rock with Melo tonight, man. Carmelo. Yeah, I think I'm going to rock with Carmelo because I'm not sure what. Actually, shit, LeBron, man. Because I gotta think, man. 2 teams 30, 2 teams. Now I'm going with Kuzma because Kuz after a teams fantasy game, he can put up like mid 40s. He put up mid 40, high 30s. So I got to go with Kuz in this joint. But watch it be Melo. Watch Melo go off. Then go. So let's save to make sure that we don't, mess up and lose all of our hard work that we done put forth. So who else we got? Now we got tier 4. In tier 4 we got Drummond, Aaron Gordon, Bridges, Covington, and Payne. So Drummond has been getting more time with AD being out, but when he puts up 20s, low 20s, he followed that with a team performance. Low 20, he put up 48, but I think he was on the Cavs then. So let me stay away from that. Or let's just keep looking. So Gordon put up mid 30s last game. So when he puts up mid 30s, and he's getting minutes too. So mid 30s, mid 20s, mid 30s, mid 20s. So he's probably gonna put up mid 20s tonight. Then Michael Bridges or McCall, I think it's Michael Bridges. Mid 30s, no mid 30s, mid 20s. 30 he follows up with a team. So I'm not messing with Bridges tonight. Then Rocco put up 39.8 fantasy points last game, high 30s. Anything in the 30s after him, after that, it's high teens, low 20s, not messing with Rocco. Process of elimination. So then we got Cameron Payne. He put up mid 20s last game. So when he puts up mid 20s, he follows up with mid 30s, mid 20s. Man, that's okay. So, yeah, like I said, Aaron Gordon, not messing with that. Mid 20s. Yeah, I need 30 or more. And then Drummond, 20, yeah, 20. He has low 20s. That's 48. So right now I'm picking all Lakers right now, and I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with Cameron Payne. Let me hit save. Cause that's a lot of damn Lakers, yo. Like I don't want half my lineup to be Lakers, Because I know they got to play tonight because this is an elimination game for them. Now let's look at tier 3. In tier 3 we got Chris Paul, Michael Porter Jr., then we got Schroeder, Powell, and then Campazzo. I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right, but CP put up mid 20s last game. When he puts up mid 20s, he follows up with a 40. Yeah. So CP's putting up 40 points tonight. He's probable for tonight's game. He better be probable because this is his window. I'm really pulling for Chris Paul, man. Like I really want to see him get a ring, yo. I mean, because he's been on different teams. He's had bad luck with the injury bug late in the playoffs, and that dude carried the Clippers when he was on the Clippers. He carried the Clippers, man, and just to see him always get hurt, that shit sucks. So I want to see CP. I'm rooting for CP this finals, and the fact that he went to the Suns and the Suns got good. I mean, I would almost want to argue that you might want to even put him into the MVP consideration because no one knew this. Like no one saw the Suns coming out doing what they doing right now. No one saw the Suns doing that. Right, so I like CP. I might just pick him because I want to see him do well. But let's take a look. Let's not fall in love with players. Let's look at the data, and then we go by the numbers, right? Because if you want to win the bridge, you got to go by the numbers, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Can y'all even see my? Yeah, you can see me. Yeah, I'm getting like poor lighting in here. Let me go and cut my light on. There we go. I knew something was different. Let me put that on it. Let me go cut down the light a little bit. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So now who we got? We got so Michael Porter Jr. Wow, he put up 51 points last game. And the game before that, he put up 8.8 fantasy points. So that was kind of like the telltale sign. When you look at someone's data and they put up like high to mid 30s and then all of a sudden they put up single digits, you know they're coming back next game. So he put up 51 last game. But when he puts up like 45, like I think he'll hover around there. I think he'll put up like mid 40s tonight. So mid 40s. We said CP tonight. Oh man, yeah, mid 40s. So I'm thinking it's a toss up between those two right now. And then Schroeder, wow. Yeah, Schroeder last game only put up 6.5 fantasy points. But he's been trending down for the past couple of games. Unlike Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. is putting up like solid mid to high 30s, even 40s, and then fell off one game and then came back with that 50-point game. But with Schroeder, he put up 6.5 fantasy points the other night, last game, but his average was kind of like around like mid 20s. So you also got to think too, the Suns have like the best backcourt in the NBA from a defensive perspective. So I'm probably not gonna mess with that. Then we got Norman Powell on the Blazers. He put up 18.5 fantasy points the other night. So when he puts up teens, he falls up with mid 20s, low 30s. Yeah, it's not gonna cut it. And then Campazzo, when he puts up single digits, he came back with so last game he put up 7.5 fantasy points, and he followed that up with 25.8 last time he put up single digits, so I'm not fooling with that. So oh man, it's either gonna be Michael Porter. I'm looking at how he falls off. So I think Michael Porter's gonna put up high 40s based on the data, and I think Chris Paul is gonna put up mid 40s based on the data. So shit, I want to go with CP, but I got to go with the numbers, so I'm going with Michael Porter Jr. for Denver. Plus, yeah, I was picking too many players from the same game. I already have. If I would have picked Chris Paul, I would have had 4 players in the same game. So which would have been okay, but I like to diversify my players. So let's go ahead and save, and let's go ahead and get to tier 2 because we are kind of like pushing it right now. So tier 2, we have McCollum, Booker, Ayton, and Nurkic. So with McCollum, he put up 42.8 last game. When he puts up 40s, low 40s, he follows it up with another 40. So I expect him to put up low 40s, low to mid 40s. Devin Booker, high 40s last game. Ooh. When he put up 48.8 last game, he put up 25 the next game. So I think he's going to have a down game. He might put up like 40, but there's also that 25 then there. And I'm not fooling with that. Then DeAndre Ayton. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This is going to be my anomaly pick right here. Because for the past like 20 games or whatever it is, he never put up. So he put up 19 last game. For the past like 15 games, he hasn't put up teens at all. It just looks funny. So when the shit look funny, you kind of got to go with it, you know? So, yeah, I got Ayton going off. Let's see, what did Ayton do? Yeah, I got Ayton going off. And then we got Nurkic, tier 2, 30s, 30, and double 30s, mid 40s, double 30. Yeah, nah. Yeah, I'm going DeAndre Ayton with that one. I think he's going off. And then finally, tier 1, it's down between Jokic, James, Lillard, and Davis. So Jokic, he put up 77 fantasy points last game. Damn, 77. That's crazy. So when he maxed out before, he only dropped by like 10 points. So and he did it twice. So I'm looking at he might put up 67 or damn near 70 again. So 67. LeBron put up 42.3 fantasy points last game. When he puts up 40, he'll follow with either a 40 or a 60. So yeah, I got to go with Jokic. And let's see what Lillard is looking like. Damn, Dame put up 92.5 fantasy points last game. Yo. And they lost. God damn, 92 fantasy points. 55 points, 6 rebounds, 10 assists, 1 steal. Jesus. Man. Let's see what his max was before. His max before was 68. So, and then he only fell like about 10 off. Shit. You gotta go with Dame. You gotta go with Dame in this joint, man. Put up 92 fantasy points, and then he falls off only 10 points after a max like that. He might put up 80. So I'm going Dame time. So that's my lineup. You know what? And just for grins, as I had an annoying coworker used to say, I might do another lineup and just put Jokic in that tier 1 spot just to cover that because yeah, but that's my lineup right now, right? So my lineup is tier 1, I got Lillard. Tier 2, I got Ayton. Tier 3, I got Michael Porter Jr. Tier 4, I got Cameron Payne. Tier 5, I got Kuzma. And then tier 6, I went Caruso. So that's my lineup. So I'm not going to do a DFS woes section because we're kind of pressed for time. And not just that, but also the last lineup I did was on this show was back in April, and I don't have the record for that. So we're gonna move on. Okay, so I'm not even gonna do a Theobold prediction because I actually walked through my analysis and showed you everybody, right? So my lineup is my Theobold prediction. Actually, you know what? No, I'll take that back. My Theobold prediction: Dame gets at least 80 fantasy points tonight, at least. There you have it. So, what else has been going on, man? So. So over quarantine, or over my trip in Buffalo, the emergence of Kwame Brown has erupted, man. Shout out to that brother, man. Shout out to Kwame Brown, man. Round of applause to that dude, man. I like what he's doing, man. A lot of people don't like it. I like what he's doing, man. You know, he's speaking up, man. You know, I like that. And as y'all know, I'm a Wizards fan, so I remember when he got picked first overall by Michael Jordan or whatever on the Wizards. And I had high expectations of Kwame Brown. But even though he didn't live up to those expectations, I wasn't hating on the dude. I was like, okay, it just didn't work out, you know? Shit, he's in the NBA. He's better than me, shit. So I can't talk. Because there's some players, like, what's that dude that got drafted first overall by the Cavs and just fell off the face of the earth? Like, to me, it's like, Kwame to me is, and I agree with him, right, about the whole bust thing, right? Like, these players get labeled bust because the media and sports writers had high expectations of them, and because they didn't meet their expectations, they're a bust. I think that's kind of selfish. If you, like, if I have anything to say about it, I think that's kind of selfish because who are you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all these sportscasters or whatever, like, that's just your prediction, you know? Yeah, we expected more from Kwame, but it didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? But the one thing I will say about Kwame is he was in the NBA for like 10, 12 years, right? If not longer. And he put up some numbers and put up points. So it wasn't like he had a non-existing stat line, you know? So you have players that are in the NBA that get no minutes and just sat and just had no stats, right? And then you got some NBA players that came in and just got bounced out the league. Kwame hung in there and he bounced around to different teams, you know? So, but I like what he's doing, man. I'm a fan, yo. Like, I'm really a fan of what he's doing right now. Like, he's just coming at people, man. Like, everyone that picked on him and bullied him, he came at them and just gave them all the smoke, man. Just everybody, you know? And that should be a lesson to some of y'all motherfuckers out there, right? That's the lesson, right? The lesson is you don't know where a person is in their life. You know what I'm saying? So when you start talking shit about people, you got to just keep in mind, just think about Kwame Brown, man. Because had all the smoke not had the episode with Gilbert Arenas, or if Gilbert Arenas and, you know, Barnes and them didn't bring up Kwame Brown's name, we wouldn't be talking about Kwame Brown right now. But that one little episode that they shot was the needle that broke the camel's back, you know? So that should be a lesson to everybody, man. Like, you don't know where someone is in life. Like, you don't know where they at. And if everyone's coming around and they're running around trying to get their shot in, that one shot you take might be enough to make that person erupt and then destroy your ass. So he's coming after everybody now. And I love it. He's coming after everyone on ESPN, all the talk shows. And, you know, they can't really argue with him. And then the cool thing is, I'm not sure if he's even realized it or not, but at first he had no following, but now his following is growing. You starting to see the holes that these sportscasters and podcasters are, man. You starting to see them for the hole that they are, man. Because before, when he was too small and had no numbers, they didn't want nothing to do with him. Then when his numbers started to increase, they were like, "Hey, man, I want to invite you on the show so we can go hash this out." And he's like, "Nah, what the fuck for? I don't need you. I got my own following." And his shit is gonna get so big to the point where it's like, either one of two things is gonna happen. Either ESPN is gonna offer him a great deal of money to come on and do a segment on something to give him some hush money, or they gonna corroborate. I said corroborate. They're gonna corroborate with YouTube and try to get this dude's channel snatched down. Those are the two things that's gonna happen. It's either gonna end with him, and even if he gets his YouTube page taken down, his following is getting so big that he can go on Patreon, and I'll go on. Like, if he gets snatched off YouTube, and he puts up a Patreon, I'll go support that brother, man, because he be saying some real shit. You know, he says everything that he be saying a lot of things I be saying, you know, like, not on this show, but just what I be thinking or whatever, you know. And so, yeah, shout out to him, man. So let that be a lesson, man. Like, don't go around poking people because you don't know where they at. Like, you don't know like where they're at, like, at all in life, you know. And when you come by and poke that wrong person, that could be the end of your ass, you know. So, yeah. So, man, shout out to that dude again, man. Kwame Brown, I'm a fan, you know. Let's talk about now we're going on to the simpology section of the show, where we talk about everything simp related. So, I got some news, y'all. I am talking to somebody right now. Yeah, and it's like, you know, I'm talking to somebody right now, you know. I'm getting to know a female right now, you know. And the one thing I've learned about myself is, you know, like, when I'm in a drought, right, it's easy to talk simp talk and talk all this AMS, get your rotation going, all that talk. But when, you know, someone showed you some interest, and, you know, there's mutual interest there, things change, you know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping that I'm not going down the simp path, and I'm basically, like, my mindset is, like I said, so simping is a mindset, you know what I'm saying? It's a mindset where you have fear of loss, you know. And at this point, I probably do have some degree of fear of loss, you know. But at the same token, it's like, at least I'm aware of it, and at least I'm calling it out, you know. So a lot of people, even like I said before in other shows, a lot of dudes who get ass or whatever, or that get a lot of women, a lot of those dudes are still blue pill because they don't understand, or they don't know female nature, right? So I feel like with my experiences, I don't understand women, right? I feel like I I'm not an expert on women, but I'm aware of their nature, and I just know like kind of what they're capable of, you know. Um, so with that being said, you know, I think I'm kind of like I think I might have a pinky toe in the simp realm, but you know, I'm not like I'm aware, but because I'm aware of it, it's kind of like that's moot. You know what I'm saying? Um, but what else, man? But one thing I learned too is Zoe Williams has Zoe Williams is like great author. You know what I'm saying? Great intellect, great mind, a lot of deep thinking. You know, his motto is go deeper, right? But he has one book called The Relationship Dismount, and me and my homie were talking about the book. Like we talk about that book a lot, you know, or we talk about it every now and again. And when I first read the book, like I thought the book was about because the full title of the book is The Relationship Dismount: How to Stick the Landing When Exiting a Toxic Relationship. And when I read it, it's like um, when you look at the cover of the book, or when I read it, my first interpretation was I only thought about it in terms of marriage and like you know wedding and relationships, like romantic relationships, but it's not. It's broader than that. It covers all relationship types, you know. Um, so the one thing that is a theme of the book is you know relationships are a highly reflective classroom where you get the opportunity to learn about yourself, you know. Um so with that being said, it's like um my whole mindset before all this or whatever was I was trying to like run away from romantic relationships, right? But there's nothing to run away from. You just gotta, if it comes your way, you should be thankful for it, and you know take it as an opportunity to learn about yourself. So um I'm learning a lot about myself right now. You know, like I'm learning, like one thing I'm learning about myself is I'm very selective when it comes to um picking women. I'm very picky, you know. Like yeah, the physical attractiveness stuff, that's cool, but um there's a lot of like things that I'm just like I'm very picky about, you know. Um like the one thing I'm very picky about is their outlook on me and doing comedy, you know, because I've dated chicks in the past that thought that it was cool to date a comedian, or um they thought it was like fun, but they didn't realize how serious I was about it, you know. So um when you got chicks that don't want to come to your show, and here's the thing, right? I can respect chicks that say, hey, look, comedy's not my thing, but if that's what you do, I respect it, and I'm gonna get behind you and let you go do your thing. But when you got to get up and go travel at last minute's notice, or um, when you got to go do a show at night, you know, some women don't get that. Like they'll be like, they're thinking you're out in the club hanging out, and nah, I'm working, you know. But when that happens, it's like that like causes a tension between like me and the chick. So the chick I'm talking to now, like she's an artist herself, you know what I'm saying? And she gets it. So, you know, it's cool that I get what she's doing, she gets what I'm doing, and it's like, you know, we want to see each other succeed in our respective lanes, you know? So, um that's why I had to entertain it, you know? It was like shit, why not, you know? Um uh and also too, like I said, I mean, she also, like I said, I didn't say it before, but you know, she's very a very considerate person. You know, she goes above and beyond the call of duty. So I mean, that's also a a a good trait. You know, a good positive. You know, um, so yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's like I mean, I'm like taking everything one day at a time, one step at a time. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm using this as an opportunity. I'm grateful for the opportunity to learn about myself. Like I said, I'm learning more about myself. Like the one thing I think I kind of knew all along was, and I kind of already hit on it, but the one thing I kind of like learned about myself is when you single, or when I'm single, I'm not bitter, but I'm like my bark is bigger than my bite. So when I'm single, it's like I'm like, I think, or I try to think like AMS, and I'm just like, oh, I gotta build a rotation. Oh man, well, first I gotta be on my purpose, but then when I meet a chick, I like, it's like that mindset of, just not really just moving people around. It's like, it's very, I would say when I'm single, I'm more compartmentalized, but when I'm, um, in a, when I'm dealing with a chick or whatever, I feel like now all of a sudden I'm more considerate. That's one thing I'm learning about myself. And I've also learned too that, which is why I'm so picky, right? Like I'm very picky because when you're considerate towards another person, that's a lot of work, because there's things that you want to do or there's ways that you want to think, but you can't do that. You have to think about the other person, and how would they feel about certain things. So, so that's what I've learned about myself thus far, but yeah, so far everything is cool, man. Everything is, it's been a blessing. I'm glad I met her. She's she's goofy in her own way. You know what I mean? She make me laugh. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to get all mushy on y'all, man. But yeah, it is what it is. We're just taking it one day at a time. That's all you can do. Um, but what else, man? Let's go ahead and talk about the next portion of the show, which is the comedy trial portion of the show. So, I think, is it called comedy? No, it's called comedy bumps. I don't know why I have it here as comedy bumps, right? Because we hit little road bumps. And before, on my last episode, I think what I talked about last episode was, I forgot my last comedy bump that I talked about, but when I was doing my comedy bump portion of the show, I was trying to keep it chronological, but I have to talk about this comedy bump because it just happened. So there's no better time to talk about something than in the present, right? So what happened? I was in this online Zoom comedy competition with a very prestigious comedy brand, I should say. Yeah, I say it's a comedy brand. They're associated with the Laugh Factory here in Hollywood. And basically there was a big cash prize, or there's a big cash prize, and then you get to, in addition to getting the cash prize, you get a spot on 3 of the major stages in Hollywood, right? So you get the Hollywood Improv, the Comedy Store, and then Laugh Factory. So that's like exposure, and that's dope. You know what I'm saying? So they were doing head-to-head competitions, and I qualified to get into the bracket, but I didn't advance, and I was disappointed. So what happened was, when I left to go to Buffalo to go clean out my grandmama's house and put the ashes in the ground, I bought all my equipment. I brought my mic. I brought my little camera. I got new lighting. I had everything up there, dropped off up there, because I didn't know if I was gonna be going up or not. So I was prepared, but I wasn't doing any open mics because I was focused on cleaning out my grandma's house, and I had to work too. Like I had to work remote, so I was writing material, but I wasn't like actually getting up and working the muscle of performing in front of people or via Zoom. So when I was up there, when they announced that they were going to move forward with the competition, I was hoping that I wouldn't have to go in Buffalo, but I came prepared, and luckily, they had me go the next week or the following week. So I wasn't in, so I got to come home. But the catch was, when I flew home, I had to like basically go the next day. So it was like I came home, got on the plane, got in like at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I had to compete like that night online virtually. And no excuses. I mean, I felt like I was funny. I felt like I personally, I felt like it could have gone either way, but he won per per the audience vote. So shout out to him. Congrats to him. I'm not gonna lie, that shit hurt because, like I said, I've been doing this since 2008, man, and I'm just looking for an opportunity to where I could just be like, boom, here I am, and I feel like I missed that opportunity. But that hurt, you know what I'm saying? So that happened about a week ago. So, but now, like, it didn't even cross my mind to not attend the next show. Like, I'm gonna keep going to the shows and keep supporting the show because I'm still learning, right? I don't want to throw out the opportunity, or I don't want to throw away the opportunity to miss out on learning more about the craft, right? So what I'm learning about the craft is it's not always about who's the funniest, but there's something else, and there's other things to where things can be possibly taken advantage of to advance, right? So I'm not, like I said, I was hurt. Like I said, I was disappointed, but I wasn't heartbroken. But let me talk about my joke selection rationale, right? So I noticed that a lot of the comedians in the contest were doing a lot of the same jokes, So I was like, okay, what's going to separate me is, one, I'm funny. Two, I have a lot of jokes, and my whole model was I'm doing no repeat jokes. I'm doing a different set every time I advance, right? So if you do the math, right, if you got to qualify to get into the bracket, then it goes 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, right? 2, right? So that's 6 times you're gonna have to get up in front of people, right? That's 6 times you have. In order to win this thing, you got to get up. You got to be able to get up 6 times, and with those 6 times, if you assume a minimum of 3 minutes per round, that's 18 minutes of material that you have to have, right? And I had way more than 18 minutes of material, but when I qualified, I did a lot of I did relevant material that was like for now, and I kind of like wrote the material out, and I practiced it, and I really worked it out at different mics for like about 2 weeks. So I worked out a new 3-minute set in about 2 weeks, and I played on different little things with the show and the brand, and it went over really well. People even had me as the favorite to win it, so my mindset was, if I can do that, then I can do it again. And then as time moves on, if I get into the 3rd, 4th round, then I'm going to start to break out more of my material, like more of my polished material that I've been doing for like, at least a year or so. But that didn't work out, so the material I chose, I basically did a set. I would say half my set was about my grandma, because I felt like it was a cool way to honor her. You know what I'm saying? It would have been dope if I could have advanced off of that, because that meant that I was able to take a situation that was sad, but also like proud, and make it like funny and like memorable, So I basically talked about my grandma, like finding the 57 knives in my grandma's house and all the knives she had. I talked about how she made me tough as a kid growing up. You know what I'm saying? The theme of my set was safety first, or just keeping it safe or something like that. And then no, it was in the name of safety. That was the theme of my set, in the name of safety. And then my last bit was a quarantine bit, because I wanted to always make sure I had a quarantine bit in my set. And my quarantine bit was about chicks still getting piped down during the pandemic, So I tied all those 3 things together in the name of safety or whatever, and I got laughs. It was weird. I felt like I started off like really high, because I kind of made like a jab at the show, because I've been attending the show for so long. The actual staff of the show like fell out laughing, and then when I talked about my grandma and I did those jokes, I felt like I still got laughs. But then my whole pandemic pipe down bit, people laughed at the word pandemic pipe down, but I felt like people were I felt like they were afraid to laugh at that bit because it was the truth, like, and the whole gist of the bit is that, is when the pandemic first started, I thought everybody was going to not be smashing like me, but a lot of chicks were still getting piped down during this pandemic. You know what I'm saying? And I did like a little story. It was a fabricated story. Like, I took bits and pieces from different females I've interacted with and just kind of like put it into one. That's what I do, right? Like, it's very rare that I'll talk about just one person. A lot of times I'll either take a person and exaggerate what they said or what they did, or I'll take groups of people and or different people and take different characteristics out to make it fit my idea or my premise, so that's kind of what I do. It got laughs or whatever, it got comments, it got commented on in the comment section or whatever, but I still lost or whatever, right? And if I had to do it again, I would do that same set, like, I felt like, to me, it was like I had to talk about my grandma during that joint because I just came back from dealing with, having to, like I said, put her ashes, like putting her ashes in the ground, and I had to, clean out the house. So I had to talk about that. Now, if that didn't happen, I would have probably talked about, I would have probably done a Zoom centric joke. I got a lot of Zoom jokes, because I don't want to. My thing was this, right? I wanted to like burn all my Zoom jokes on Zoom because I'm not really going to be doing Zoom jokes on stage when things get opened up again, So, yeah, I was gonna do. I was trying to just like burn out my Zoom jokes, but I didn't do it because my grandma's stuff to me was supposed to cut. That to me was tantamount, but the quarantine part, like, I mean, so my goal was to was for 2/3 of my set every week as I advanced to be on Zoom and quarantine, different joke every time, and then maybe give them one of my polished jokes. And I was real funny about giving them my polished jokes, because if I would have given them a joke that is a joke that I do on stage, and if I still didn't advance, it's like that's a joke that they've heard that I can't do like again. I can do it again in front of them, but I'm gonna have to wait a long period of time before I do that. So that's why I was kind of like hoarding my material towards the end. But it is what it is. I'll be back. I'm bouncing back. So if anything, at least they saw that I'm funny. They see that like via the comment section, they see that I'm pretty savvy with the comments, I guess, if you want to say, so, but yeah, but it's weird, but I feel like even though I lost, I felt like, I had a strong set, like I didn't feel like in that competition, I didn't feel like there was anyone in there where I was like, oh man, there's no way I can beat them. I didn't feel that at all. I felt like it was open, so that's that. So that's that comedy bump. So it's a recent comedy bump, but I had to kind of just go ahead and kind of talk about it. And I might talk about it more later. I might not. I don't know. But like I said, I'm going to still go through and support the show and the brand because you got to be a good sport, man. Like when you lose, you just got to be like, okay, man, they got me. Cool. Let me go back and watch and learn, Like the main thing is it's about learning like what I did and what I could have done different, So what I could have done different is I could have definitely fought harder to do Zoom shows in Buffalo, because it was weird because I was so cramped up in the house. I wasn't sure, like it was just weird. And I didn't want to practice bad habits just for the sake of practicing it. But I should have been more creative in finding a way to practice in front of people, right? I should have probably went and set up like a little comedy show in front of like my aunts and like my mom and stuff, you know, and let them kind of be like, you know, yeah, this dude ain't funny or whatever, right? But then have that confidence to where it's like I did it in front of y'all. I was an ass in front, or I played the ass in front of y'all. Y'all didn't really laugh, but I'm about to do this shit on Zoom. And then when I get them to laugh, you know, you gonna be like, oh wow, like that I should have probably did something like that, you know. What else? Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't change a thing about I wouldn't have changed a thing about my joke selection, but I would have definitely done things differently with my preparation, you know. Granted that, you know, I was kind of in a tough situation. So what else we got going on, man? Oh yeah, man. If y'all haven't done so already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this video. You know, if you got a question, if you want to troll, if you want to be an asshole, go ahead and put them comments down there. You know, I'll spark your ass up. If you want attention, I'll give you attention. But no, it's not. It's all love. It's all fun and games. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, man. You know, because I make sure I don't block any comments because I want to be able to hear what everyone is saying, or even what the robots are saying, or what the bots are saying. Shit, I'll talk shit to a bot. I don't give a shit. But what else, man? But yeah, man. Thanks for tuning in to the 12th episode of Trippin with Theobold. You can find me on all forms of social media at AT is where it's at. So make sure you follow me. But what's coming up next? So tonight I am going to an open mic. It's a private open mic to work out some material for a show that I have coming up on Saturday. First live show that I'm being booked on is at this venue called the Comedy Chateau in Hollywood. It's on Lancashire. Starts at 9 p.m. Make sure if you want to come check me out, you know, I got the link in my Instagram bio. So just go to my IG, go to the bio, and you'll find it. You know, but this is gonna be an anniversary show, right? So this is the show I've been doing with so basically I've been doing comedy shows or online Zoom comedy shows with this Liar group, right? And Liar stands for Locked in a Room. I met these guys over quarantine. I met them through another mic that I did over quarantine, and they're serious, man, and they're funny. Like they book shows, they do open mics, they do game shows, all these things. Just really good people, man. And I basically was on Zoom twice a week with these guys, you know. So for a whole year, for twice a week, I was tuning in to these guys or whatever, and I never met them in person. I met one guy in person for the first time last week at an open mic, and he's on the show. But man, it's gonna be a fun show. It might even get emotional, man, because like that's like my Zoom fam, you know, and I'm meeting them for the first time, which is a big deal, you know. So I'm very excited about that. So I got to get my material ready. I gotta make sure I rock out, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, with all that being said, thanks again for tuning in. I'm not sure how many times I said it, but thanks again for tuning in to Trippin with Theobold. We're gonna be back next week. Bigger, better, stronger, all the above. And that's all I got. I'm out of here. Peace.